When people make decisions, they're going with the less risky propositions. Almost all the prospects are trying to pick the safest choice. So you need to make it the less risky for them. Happy Monday. I got a busy day. Gonna be doing a couple podcast interviews this morning. And then this afternoon, I'm doing a half-day workshop with an agency that wants to build a predictable pipeline. Now, this morning when I got up, I was checking my email and I got a great question from Andre that I think all of you will relate to. And it's about, should I charge hourly or should I charge per project? Andre asked, should my design services be sold by the hour or the project? Now, I love this question because I get asked this all the time. So I remember when I was getting started, I designed by the project. And so what happened was I scoped it wrong, I didn't have the right process in place, and I got crushed on scope creep. And so then I said, well, I don't want to lose money anymore because I really don't know how to scope it. I don't know how to price it out. So I'm going to charge by the hour. So I started charging by the hour, and that's what was perfectly fine. I didn't lose any money. But what I realized was as I was getting more experience and as I was getting faster and I could design things faster, I started to make less money, less profit. And I knew that was an issue. When I chat with agency owners, you guys aren't charging enough. Almost every single one is not charging enough because we don't value the work that we do. We don't value the experience that we have. Now, the other thing it goes down to is knowing exactly the value that you provide. And especially on design, a lot of you don't know. You're just like, well, I designed a logo or I designed a website. But if you really started looking at how many different things does the project that you designed for them touch, how much is an impression worth to them? Really asking the prospect those questions, then you'll be able to determine what it's actually worth to them. So like, for example, if you knew that they wanted a new website and you started asking questions to them saying, well, why do you want a new website? And they're like, well, people are going to our website and they're not being able to find our products, or they're not able to navigate to the products and the programs that we want, which is costing us money. So then I would say, well, how many people are going to that website? And what's the conversion rate right now? And what do you want it to be? They would tell me a number. I was like, oh, so what is that number that it's costing you? Have them say the value. Have them say the impact. If they say it, they will believe it. If you say it, it's a little harder. You've already lost them because they don't trust you yet. Now, once you position this, you can basically say, all right, well, cool. We have $1 million problem. So would you like our help to do this? And they're going to say, yeah. And you're going to say $100,000. And they're going to say, well, how did you come up with that? Well, does it really matter? That's what our prices are worth. And if they say, well, what's your hourly rate? I'd always love this question. I'd be like, why do you need to know our hourly rate? Well, I want to know what our $100,000 is going for. Well, your $100,000 is going to go to the $1 million problem that we're solving. What if you spend less time? So if we spend less time on your project, we should charge you less, right? They're going to say, of course. And if we spend more time, then we could charge you more. And they're going to say, whoa, wait a minute. No. Like, well, so why you're penalizing me for being experienced and fast and getting everything to you? Why is that fair? Why if I spend less time on it, I should charge you less, but if I spend more time, I can't charge you more. So you value time. And they're going to say yes. Well, why are you penalizing me for being experienced? Now, here's your alternative, Mr. Prospect. You can go find an inexperienced person and they will do your project for lower. But you're going to spend a lot more of your time managing them and directing them. And at the end of the day, they might not be able to get there because they're inexperienced. You're going to put a lot of time to it, and there's going to be a lot of risk. And at the end of the day, you should be spending your time elsewhere. You don't have a design degree. You don't have the experience in design that someone like we do that we can help you. That's why you're hiring us. So what you need to do is position how much their time is actually worth to them and what they need to be doing, and you need to have them see that. That's the important thing when people start cornering you on what your hourly rate is, because it doesn't matter. To answer your question, Andre, you need to be charging on value for your design services, but you need to understand what it's actually worth from your past work, but also, more importantly, what's it worth to the prospect you're chatting with? Because if you go way under, like if they're valuing your work at $1 million and you charge $1,000, you're not going to win that engagement because they're going to think there's something wrong and they're going to think it's too risky. When people make decisions, they're going with the less risky propositions. How can you overcome their objections, make them at ease so their decision is less risk? Almost all the prospects are trying to pick the safest choice. So you need to make it the less risky for them and show them the value. So if you like this episode, I want you to share it out and make sure you subscribe. And I would love to hear your comments on the objections you hear from your prospects and how you overcome them. And until next time, I'm just your humble agency advisor, letting you grow your agency faster and easier, and have a swank day.